Yeah.
Shopping will do that.
Yeah, that's right. I missed the other Wednesday because I didn't get back from the Hialeah Trail in time. So I left my car on Camp Smith and went up like this back trail. And I went to the wrong side of the fence. I'm like, no shit, I'm getting lost.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Nice to see you all here tonight. And let me change to a different camera setting and we can bring Amy in. There she is. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Bob. Hi, guys. Hi, Sangha.
All right. So why don't we all start before we do the announcements, just by taking a nice cleansing breath, getting ourselves a little relaxed. And while we do that, perhaps set our intention for being here tonight. I like to joke, but it's partially true, that my friends tell me I'm nicer when I meditate. So one of my intentions is to meditate so that I can be a little nicer to those around me. I don't know what your meditations are. Let's take a breath and set them. All right, so before we get going, we have something I always like to do. I'm a twitchy mammal, and when I don't know people, sometimes I feel a little uncomfortable. So I like to look around, and if there's somebody sitting next to you and you don't know them, or you do know them and just want to say hi, why don't we take a moment to do that? I'm Bob, by the way, and that's Amy on the TV there.
Is it Ryan?
Hey, Don. Hey, Don. Welcome, yogis. Welcome, Sangha. Glad to have you here. The restroom is in the foyer, so it's marked. They do ask to keep the door closed because it breezes. If you don't close it, it'll swing back and forth and we'll hear it. The other thing is there are two kinds of locks. There's a slide lock, and we'd appreciate it if you used that. And the reason is if you use the lock on the handle and forget to unlock it, you'll be able to get out, but nobody else will be able to get in. And we have the code, so it's not a big mystery. The other thing is, it's very generous of you to be here for yourselves and for each other, and for Amy and I. Generosity in many ways is at the heart of everything we do. The Bodhi tree has been super generous to us, allowing us to be here without the need for paying any rent or anything. So if your heart is open to it and you feel like supporting the work of the Bodhi tree, there is a glass box out there that you're welcome to put dana or contributions in. It's not required. This is a free sitting. But if you'd like to help out, it's there. Just want to let everybody know. All right. So, welcome. What we're going to do, if you haven't sat with us tonight, is we'll do a little mindful movement. Tonight, we're not going to get up. We can stay seated. And actually, the people who are sitting on cushions may or may not get quite as much out of it. This is for chair people in some ways. I am a chairperson. No, that's really not the way I wanted that to come off at all. I do sit in a chair, however. Anyway, we'll do that for about 10 minutes, and then I will lead a meditation. Then we'll have about a 7-minute break, and the bathroom's there. We do ask that you do the break in silence. You can go out on the lanai, whatever. There's water and cups in the foyer as well. Bottles and things with covers are okay in here, but please don't bring an open container in here. They've asked us not to do that. And then Amy, all the way from Alaska, will be giving us a little dharmet or a short Dhamma talk, and then leading us in our second meditation for the evening. And hopefully we'll have a little time left over for questions or reflections or whatever you'd like. So with that, shall we get going? Wonderful. Amy, I'm going to change it to the Sangha view here, I think. Maybe. We'll see what happens. I got it. Yeah. All right. So stay seated. I'm going to move my chair out here a bit.
Does it work tonight? What's up?
Not now, please.
So no.
All right. For those of us seated in chairs, how many of us work in an office or have worked in an office or sit in front of our computers all day? Yeah, right. We probably don't move that much. So sitting in a chair can sometimes be a little problematic. And so what we're going to do tonight is talk a little about sitting in chairs. Now, you'll see when I sit in this chair, something happens. I tend to lean back. And you can see my chin drops when I lean back to compensate, right? That's not a particularly good thing. The other thing is my hips are a little lower than my knees. Yes, which also leads to a few issues. Yeah. So the other thing is we don't really want to lean back when we're meditating. Well, you can see the posture of our three yogis seated on cushions. Their backs are very straight, right? For the most part, because you can't really sit on a cushion unless your back is straight. That's one of that particular posture, or those two postures work great for that. In a chair, there are some other issues. So one of the things we can do is take some sort of piece of clothing, don't have one, this is a little wide, and stick it behind us down low so that we're seated forward and not leaning back in our chair. This will keep our spine aligned correctly with our hips and allow us to be a little more comfortable. Now you see the second problem here. My knees are still up here. So the way to handle that, take a cushion. Now, actually, when I'm on the cushion, it's very hard to lean back. So I don't need this at this point. So you can see now when I sit, I'm more or less straight upright. And this, when we practice metta or another form of very relaxing meditation, sit however you like, lay down, it's fine. But when we practice Vipassana, for the most part, we want to be awake and aware. All right, so we're going to start, once we get into a posture that works for us, just by shaking out our hands. Let's just shake a little and get our shoulders in there. If this hurts you in any way, if you've got a stiff shoulder, don't do it really hard, okay? You can move your head around. Be careful with your head. Don't deal with your neck too much, right? If your neck is stiff or cracks or something like that, we don't want you to get hurt. If there's ever anything that I instruct and you're uncomfortable doing it, just don't do it, yeah? Or compensate and do something else. All right, so the very first thing we're gonna do tonight with this is we're gonna up it. Once we have sat for many years, things loosen, things get elongated that shouldn't be elongated, and things get tight that shouldn't be tight. So our very first exercise, if we can put our hands on our thing, we're simply going to raise our arm very gently on an in-breath. Raise it up. If you can't raise it up over your head, that's fine. And then just put it on the top of your head, palms up. And just feel what that's doing to your spine and your shoulder. And now take your navel and press it in a little towards your spine as we breathe. Let's just do about 5 really nice, slow, deep breaths. Pulling our belly in when we breathe in and letting it out. And just feel what's happening in your shoulder and your spine. And breathe at our own pace. If it starts hurting a little, go ahead and rotate it just to feel what that's like. You can move your elbow to the back a little. If you like to stretch, move it forward. Okay, one more deep breath. And then let's bring our hand down, nice and slow, exhaling. And just so we don't walk around in a circle for the rest of the evening, we're going to do the same thing with the other arm. So we exhale and take a nice deep breath in, raising our arm up. Again, on the top of our head. And just feel how that's affecting our spine and our shoulder. Just pull that belly in with your breath back towards, like you're moving your navel to your spine. And when we inhale, let it relax. And just feel how this particular posture stretches out some of those muscles involved with sitting. Okay, one more deep breath. And then exhale, letting our arm come back down. And let's just sit and breathe for a second. And be inquisitive. Do your shoulders and spine feel any different having done that? Especially if you're someone who sits a lot. If you're on the go all the time, maybe not so much. All right, the next one is really similar, except we're going to breathe in as we move both hands up. And then interlace your fingers and just bring your palms to the top of your head. And again, 5 or 6 good deep breaths. If you can move your elbows out a little to get that stretching in our shoulders. But really focus on the breathing too. We don't want to get tense in our arms. And again, if any of this is painful or stiff, just don't do it. Right on the top of our heads. You can even tilt your chin back a little if you like. Stretch out the front. 2 more big breaths. In, and as we exhale, press your navel to your spine. And in, and then bring your hands down again. And be inquisitive if that felt any different than the one-handed version. And do we feel any difference in our shoulders and our spine as we do this? This is an excellent exercise for those of us who are office workers, by the way. You can just take a couple of minutes, put your hand up, put the other hand up so you don't walk around in a circle. And one more time, again, very similar, except this time we're going to put our hands on the back of our head. So let's start with a nice deep breath in, raising our hands. Interlace our fingers and then all the way back. You can even put your thumbs where your skull meets your neck and spine. And again, breathe in deeply. And when we exhale, push that navel all the way back to your spine and move your elbows out a little. You can push back with your head against your palms. 2 more big breaths. And then let your hands come gently on the exhale back to your thighs. All right. Everybody feel okay with that? That's the total sum of our movement tonight. We're making it really easy. I'm going to move my chair back and then we'll sit and meditate for a few minutes and then we'll turn it over to Amy. So tonight's first meditation is one I learned from Jeff Warren, who is a meditator from Toronto and a great friend of Dan Harris and a number of other meditators from that Eastern area. And it's not one that he invented himself. He picked it up from somebody else. And it allows us to use our imagination and become aware of our breath. So we are going to be paying attention to our breath. Is everybody okay with that? Okay, if you're not okay with the breath, use your body or the sounds around us as that sensation. And this is sort of fun and imaginative, not too traditional, but it's one of the ones that's one of my favorites among the people I lead at work where we do it. I'm going to set my timer for about 18 minutes or so. And let's get started. All right. Let's settle into a comfortable meditation posture, alert. I like my feet firmly planted on the floor, but on a cushion. You'll be connected to the earth in a different way, so that's fine. And we'll start with a few deep cleansing breaths in, just allowing ourselves to take a full breath in through our nose. And exhaling slowly. You can even do it as if you're blowing through a straw if you like, letting our lungs empty. And taking a second deep breath in. Perhaps holding briefly. And again, exhaling. And let's just do 5 more breaths in this fashion at our own pace. When I do my last of the 5, I'll let us know again. And I'm inhaling for my 5th. And just letting everything go with that exhale. Letting my thoughts, my plans, Whatever else can be put to rest for a few minutes, allowing it to be put to rest. And let's spend a minute or two just becoming aware of our bodies sitting. Just allowing our consciousness to open to all the sensations of sitting. Sit and know we are sitting. We're not picturing it, we're not imagining it, we're simply allowing ourselves to be aware of the sensation of our breath, our connection with the earth, any breezes through the room, clothing on our body, and proprioception, a sense of our posture in space. Just allow it all to register and all to be present as we allow our consciousness to settle into our body, just as we're allowing our body to settle into our cushion or our chair. If thoughts arise, that's fine. We needn't grasp them. We needn't push them away. We're just paying attention to our body for the moment. Sounds will arise and pass. Thoughts, bodily sensations, moods. We just allow them all without judgment. And now let's use our imaginations. I invite us to imagine a lovely, quiet, calm beach and water. It may be a place you visited. It may simply be your imagination. But the water is clear. The sky is blue. It's calm. And if it's comfortable for you, let's imagine walking out into the water and laying on our backs, buoyed up in this perfectly clear, warm, inviting ocean. And if the water isn't your thing, and it may not be, that's fine. Allow ourselves to lay in a field, surrounded by flowers, or perhaps even just our bed. We walk into the water, lay back on it, buoyed up, floating gently. The blue sky above us. Sounds arise, sounds pass. Thoughts, just clouds in the sky. And let's begin to pay attention to our breath in our belly. When we inhale, we feel our belly rise just a little. When we exhale, our belly sinks just a little. Again, if breathing is not what you're able to focus on, that's fine. The sounds around us or our connection to the earth is fine as well, or our connection simply in the water. When we breathe in, we feel our body rising a little in the water. When we breathe out, just a little sinking. The water is the same temperature, comfortable. It's almost as if we're becoming one with the ocean. After all, our bodies are mostly ocean. Gently rising, gently falling. And allow ourselves to imagine that on our inhale, the tide rises gently. And when we exhale, the tide recedes gently. It's as if the ocean were our belly, rising and falling. On deeper breaths, the tide rises higher. On more complete exhales, the tide recedes more. And I invite us to remember that all oceans are connected. All around the world, we call them different names, and they are different. The Pacific meets the Indian, meets the Arctic, connects to the Atlantic. So as we breathe in, our tide encompasses the globe, connecting us with all life. Breathing in, the tide spreads out everywhere. And breathing out, the tide recedes. Connecting to rivers, to ponds, to lakes, to the underground, and to all life. All life depends on water. And all creatures breathing with our tide, with our breath, with our ocean belly. I will offer a suggestion for us to continue this journey, which you are free to ignore. If you would prefer to continue just breathing or being aware of sitting, whatever it is you have happened to do. But if you'd like, let's begin to imagine that this ocean that is our belly and our breath is an ocean of metta, of loving kindness. And when we exhale, we're breathing out metta. Breathing in metta, the tide rises. We breathe metta and touch all creatures around the world that are part of the water cycle, those living in the water, on the water, above the water, on lands touched by rains, deep underground, through the atmosphere. Our ocean is an ocean of metta that we are floating in. Allowing ourselves to pervade our sense of loving kindness, our intention, whether it be weak or strong, to all creatures. Allowing metta to flow from us to the tide, around the world, all the oceans, the rivers, the streams, touching all creatures seen and unseen, big and small, with fins and legs and wings, and even those we'll never know about. May all beings be well, be safe, and live with ease. In a moment, I'll invite the bell to ring. Just allow it into your meditation. There's no need to hurry back. Just allow the sound to carry your breath and your metta throughout this wonderful ocean. Thank you for practicing with me. We'll now take about a 7-minute break. It'll be on that, and we'll have a timer at the end. Please maintain silence if possible, but you feel free to go out on the lanai. The restrooms are there, the porch, there should be some water, and we'll see you again for Amy's half of the class tonight. welcome back. Amy, are you there? Yes. Hold on. Are you there, Amy? Can we hear you?
I'm here.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had to make sure she was on. Oh, somebody locked it, huh? Oh, don't worry about it.
Aloha. Nice to see you all. I wish I was there with you. So it's been about a month and a half since I moved from Hawaii to Alaska. And this morning on my drive into work, it was 6 degrees. 6 degrees. And I told my coworkers it seemed like it was getting cold pretty quickly, and they're like, this isn't even cold yet. And we're slowly going into darkness. About 7 minutes a day, it gets darker and darker. And then it will become lighter and lighter. And I've seen the aurora borealis in my phone once or twice so far. And there are trees here. There are trees here that are still green. And I've been told they'll stay green even as we reach negative 20, negative 40. It's pretty amazing. Amazing. Got my little happy baby Buddha here right in front of my laptop, MacBook here with you all. Yeah. And I was reflecting on the felt sense of what it's like to be there with you guys. It's not quite the same. Not quite the same in my hotel room, which is a little bit messy from this point. And yet I'm so grateful. And tonight's talk is about Virya. Bob and I have been talking about the paramis, the 10 perfections, these qualities of those that are enlightened, these qualities on the path to more freedom, peace in our lives. And Virya has been, first when I was diving into it, it was a lot around energy, which I find very interesting because we have a whole society that is grappling with energy, tiredness, sleepiness. Looking up some information on what we could call like the modern energy crisis. People spend about $2.9 billion on sleep aids, sleep aid market, and about $25 billion a year on energy drinks, 87 billion a year on coffee. Billion. Yeah, we're trying to figure out energy. And yeah, Virya is a very specific type of energy. And I think the first time I think I recognized Virya was on a retreat, Santa Cruz Mountains through Gil Fronstal's. He's got a wonderful retreat center out there. And on retreat, the body goes through these phases of achiness and fatigue, distraction, fogginess, these hindrances of wanting, not wanting, of sloth and torpor, of like tiredness and sludginess of the mind. I don't know if sludginess is a word, but I'm going to go ahead and go with it. Yeah. And so on retreat, I'd be sitting there, noting, breathing, not wanting, not liking, all over the place. The mind does, returning. And there's times where I'd lose confidence, even after like 12 retreats and over 100 days, of quiet meditation sits, I can still find myself on the last retreat. I'm like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? I should just go. I should just leave. This is hard. And Virya can also be, aside from a type of energy, I'm going to go off a little side topic. It can be effort and courage. And when we lose Virya, it's like when our mind can get a little bit foggy, resistant, wanting to do other things. And sometimes we're tired. Simple, we just need to take a nap. And sometimes it's the mind trying to kind of escape from what's here, trying to escape what's hard. So I had my little experience of my multiple experiences of Virya where I stayed with it on retreat, watched the mind do what it was doing, and then it was an interesting thing. I sit up a little taller. It's kind of how it feels, right? This ability to stay present with courage and compassion. And it wasn't based on an energy drink. It wasn't based on an app. It wasn't based on a certain amount of sleep, setting my perfect schedule. There's a lot we do in our lives that are like self-help. We try to like self-help ourselves. Sometimes with cruelty, I've heard it referred to that way. We could almost self-help ourselves to cruelty. And when we're tired or when we don't have motivation, don't have courage, or we're stuck, we can really think that it's because we're doing something wrong. We just need to tweak our lives a little differently. We failed ourselves in that way. And sometimes that's true. Sometimes we do need to tweak our lives a little bit. I mean, I definitely need to tweak my life a little bit in some ways. And sometimes we need to just be with. At least that's how it feels for myself. I can speak for myself. I can tell when I don't want to go there. And so I was researching Miriam, I was like all over the map because I think I hold a lot of dukkha, a lot of criticism and judgment towards myself for not feeling like I can find the balance between ease and effort, the balance between letting go and pushing forward, between taking a nap, choosing to read a book as opposed to sitting. And that was happening this afternoon for one of my meditation groups online. I was just going to sit there and just keep reading on my iPad. Zoom was going on, my camera was off. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to do this Dharma talk on Virya, courage and effort and staying with it. And here I am, like totally lacking in it right now. And I think I was feeling the hypocrisy of that. And I was feeling that like I haven't sat long enough or I haven't sat enough and I want to show up and where's the courage? And so I was avoiding those feelings and avoiding a lot of other feelings. There's a lot of feelings in this life right now. You could just pick one topic in the world and in our own lives that could break our hearts. If we really were to sit with them. If we really were to let in, hold, be with, and trust our fear, our confusion, our shame. It takes courage and compassion, a lot of compassion. And trust, trust that we're sitting with this not because, but we're sitting with this and then we do, and when we do, let it in skillfully, that it matters, that we can titrate it in, we can be with it in the body. And that'll matter. I was thinking about this related to loss. There's another way of looking at loss that can maybe give us a little of that energy, that virya for meeting it. We can look at it like the reason it hurts is because it mattered. And maybe whatever comes up, whatever unease is here in our lives, come and go. Maybe they're here because they matter. Maybe if we trust that they matter, we trust that it's sitting with it, will support it, support the softening, the letting go. And maybe we can have courage to do so, but there has to be trust to do that. And that is a felt experience. So on retreat after retreat, I keep going. I'm going to keep going on these retreats. I'm going to keep practicing when I don't want to. Because it matters. Because not because it matters, it does matter, but because my body has decided to trust it. And I can't give you any of you that trust that this practice can help us meet the moment, that we can find virya and energy to meet the moment. I can't. I wish I could. I wish I could just give you it. Like, okay, like, I wish you could have that experience, the freedom, the heart growing from the pain. That sense that when pain happens, when loss happens, when shame happens, that it's all this mulch, that it all allows for things to grow. My goodness, my humanity, patience. Not mine exactly, but patience. It's there for all of us. Yeah. So virya allows for this courage. Virya is courage and energy and effort. And knowing where to push and where to let up is confusing. And being with, and I think this is my encouragement to you all who might not have a regular practice to consider that. Since consider being with it. Consider being with it and sits and on top and staying there, staying with it. That was another thing. So virya can be translated as energy, perseverance, courage, or effort. And it can be the fuel that supports the other parts of our life that the other paramis. It allows us to keep coming back to the breath, to keep showing up, and meeting with courage, patience, compassion, and balance. And it's not the type of energy that's like, gotta do this, let's go, come on. At least not how I imagined it. It's like, stay, you got this, keep going. I'm right here, let's keep going. I trust you're here for a reason. We can keep going. And this is something, it's a karmic knot for me, knowing where how much effort to put in. And I get a little tense thinking about this topic because I think of other people's expectations around effort and energy. And I start to feel that tension of the rigidness of it. And so it's definitely something to be aware of, because we can go the other direction. This is all balance, right? We can go the other direction of being hard on ourselves with it. And that's not where virya is. That's not, we've missed it. We've missed the spot if we think that that's what the effort and energy is. And it's something to play with in your lives. Play with practice if you don't have a regular practice. and play with sitting when it's a little tricky. It's staying a little longer when you feel all done. Just, maybe giving yourself 1 more minute or 10 more breaths, 5 more minutes after you're done. Some of my favorite moments in sits are when I'm like, 70% of the time, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. And then the last percent, I'm like, oh, this is great. My God, I moved through it. I felt it. I sat in it. I trusted it. And then I don't want the bell to end. I'll sit longer sometimes. It's so surprising to me and wonderful when Vera shows up. When I sit and actually have like the emotion arise, I stay with it and then watch the difficulty, the tension in my body just unfold and soften. It moves through and it's not quite the same again, and then it'll happen again. And that beautiful trust that like I said, I can't give any of you those things, but I'm so grateful I've gotten to experience that in my life. It makes things feel a little bit more doable. And it's refuge in a way. Yeah. So we can find ourselves trying to create energy through or relaxation, this balance of it through our devices, through food, through distractions. And it might be something to experiment with. Not an easy experiment, one that would take courage to choose just for, I'm going to reach for my device. I mean, right after this, I'm going to want to read this story. I'm in the middle of this story and I really want to get back to it. But what if I pause for 30 seconds and put it down and just let myself feel with courage? Let's hear. And Virya was one of the most talked about things from like in the Buddha, the older discourses. He talked about Virya, this energy, like it was one of the most commonly brought up. Um, so it was important for allowing us, taking these steps towards more skillfulness, wholesomeness, freedom in our lives. And it's tricky. And not easy, but maybe worthwhile. You'll have to find out for yourself. Matthew Brunsilver says, Virya is the energy of love moving through the world, the force that keeps the heart open, even when the mind is tired. The force that keeps the heart open, even when the mind is tired. Nikki Mirifiori says, effort doesn't mean strain. It's the willingness to care. And poet Rilke said, let's see, if we surrender to the earth's intelligence, we could rise up rooted like trees. We surrender to the earth's intelligence, we could rise up rooted like trees. Instead, we entangle ourselves in knots of our own making and struggle, lonely and confused. So, like children, we begin again to fall, patiently to trust our heaviness. Even a bird has to do that before he can fly. So it's that give and take Not knowing when it's rest and knowing when there's going to be effort, knowing when it's not the right time, just and when knowing when courage and compassion. Another Rilke poem. Actually, let's see. Is it what I wanted? Let me find it. I'm gonna instead, end with Rosemary Traumer. It's called Quick Before I Lose My Courage. Too long have I dared not to dare. Too long have I dared not to dare. Love, here, here is my whole heart. And here is the fence I built around it. And here is the match to burn the fence while we are at it. The doors too, the walls and the weather vane. I have no idea what comes next. Fabulous. Too long I have dared to not dare love. Here, here's my whole heart, and here's the fence I built around it. And here's the match to burn the fence. And while we're at it, the doors too, the walls and the weather vane. I have no idea what comes next. Fabulous. Let's go ahead and sit for a little bit. Taking whatever has supported you in the talk and leaving the rest. Get settled in. Seeing if any parts of the and at the same time, seeing if the body could rise and straighten and then soften just a little. The spine raising to the sky with energy and also softening. Rising and softening. Right here, right now. the energy of the inhale and the release of the exhale. This energy cannot be forced. It can be invited. It can be trusted to arise and fall. This courage to look within, to stay, cannot be forced. Can be trusted to arise and fall. This is being human. And yet orient our mind to allow for these skillful means, these skillful qualities to arise. Simply by sitting, by the Buddha and the Sangha. And with Brahma Viharas, these paramis may arise. These qualities of mind that part our life to have more ease, and wisdom. Energy waxes, and that's human. Fog And some days it's a fire. Practice to meet each moment with presence and care. To keep showing up. And to me, Virya is love in motion. Effort without strain. Energy that wakes us up rather than wears us out. May we keep showing with love and compassion, patience, courage, no matter what our energy's at. Only Virya show up in our lives through our practice. Thank you all. We should have a little bit of time for questions for me or Bob, if or shares about the practice, shares about how the sit was for you, how your practice has been in general. If you need any support creating a practice, or whatever's true for you, whatever wants to be shared. And when we share in such spaces, it can feel like we're giving it to the Dharma a little bit. But it also makes sense to be skillful for how you share, and be tricky to share with strangers and not want to dump too, but also share vulnerably. Everything is the middle path, guys. Whatever is called to you, or if nothing is called to you, that is okay.
Amy, can you hear me? Amy, can you hear me? Amy, can you hear me?
I can't hear you, Bob. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad you can hear me. I just can't hear that.
Yeah, we didn't lose any of your meditation audio, but your camera dropped off and we can't see you.
Should we just go to the dedication and merit? Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I think so, because People cannot see you at this point, though we can hear you. Oh, right, you can't hear me. Right.
You tell you gotta switch your thing.
I can't hear you. Yes. Yep. Got it. Cool.
Oh my gosh. Every week, something.
That's the caveat of technology.
Yeah. The good news is next week we'll be talking about.
Oh, sorry. I think I know why. It says you're muted. One of the things you're muted on. There you
Can
go.
you hear me
now
now?
you're good.
That's
Yeah.
weird. Oh, okay. So we still can't see you. For some reason, your camera is not coming through. Anyway, before we go, thank you all.
Great.
Actually, does anyone have a question? Because I can repeat it now since she can hear me.
I have a question.
Yes.
I appreciated the Dharmat a lot. I related to everything.
Can you hear that, Amy?
She appreciated that a lot.
Yeah, we have to get you a microphone because there's no microphone there.
Simple question. What's the word of the concept she was talking about?
Virya.
Virya?
Viriya. This. Yeah, it's technology. Yeah, same thing I talked about last week.
I just admire you for setting this. I just have a comment. I just admire you, Bob, for taking this on, this technology thing, and you know, keeping at it. It's something that would overwhelm me, and I couldn't do myself. And so I just have a lot of admiration for you in this journey. So I appreciate you.
Thanks.
That's what he meant.
Yeah.
Next week, the topic is Khanti, Khanti, or patience. So it's another of the paramis. So we'll be talking about that and probably bringing this up. Anybody else?
I wanted to say too. I totally.
Oh
You guys
no,
hear me
no,
okay?
you're breaking up a little.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Every week, you know, the nice thing is though, every week it's been something different. We've never had the same failure twice.
You'll run out of failures.
All right. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say? Be happy to. Yep. All right. Why don't we take a moment? Oh, take a nice deep cleansing breath again. And let's dedicate the merit of our practice tonight to all the members of the Sangha, our teachers, our family, all those we come in contact with, that we may become free from suffering and help others do the same, perhaps in this very life. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings live with ease. Thanks. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Bob. You can hear me better now, right?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. It's trying to get you on.
Okay,
I can
yeah.
actually see you, but I can't get you onto the TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. I really appreciate you. And we can meet again so we can work out bugs if we need to. Take care. Good night.
Good night, all.